9444091 for you to be part of the conversation this morning inside the locker room as Tega would get to break the sports stories down this morning. Once again, we'll be on 0809444091 will be where we expect to read those messages. Now, if you do YouTube, we have regulars on YouTube who would usually leave messages on YouTube. If that's the way you like it, we also like it that way. Be sure to race down to youtube.com/smooth 981 FM Lagos and then leave your comments there on YouTube. We're sure to also pick those up. And then let's get ready now to meet Tega this morning. Good morning, Tega.
Good morning. So, did you miss me?
I would like that. Yes, I miss you. You did that on purpose to make me miss you, Tega.
Oh, good morning, everybody. I must give up my share. I had to talk, but we're good now. We're good now. All right. So, what has happened in the world of sports today? One reason why Novak Djokovic cannot be the greatest of all time, amongst other things, but I'll give you one today. But we'll get to that story eventually. But first of all, I want to talk about the guy. Remember, I told you a story about the ice skater that was killed on.
Yes.
Yeah. So somebody has been arrested. And I know people say, oh, but it's sports and some of these are the dangers of sports. But if you watch the video, and I do not advise that you do because it was gory. And this happened live, like people were watching it and then it happened. He swung his leg recklessly. Again, I would say this, mistakes happen in sports. And sometimes in your enthusiasm to maybe defend or stop a tackle, you do certain things like break somebody's leg or, there are things like that happen. But he swung his leg a little recklessly. It was a little too high, unnecessarily high. And it slit the guy's throat. Instant. It wasn't. So somebody
to a vein around
yeah,
the neck
somebody has been arrested for manslaughter charges, which is what it should be. You can't prove murder. Like he probably didn't come to to play ice skating to murder or to play hockey to murder somebody, but that happened. So that somebody has been arrested on that charge. So we're waiting to hear how this will pan out. But it's a really, really sad loss. And I think a lot of people that were watching the game live, they were traumatized. Because can you imagine going to enjoy your simple hockey game?
Event free.
And somebody dies right in front of
blood spilling, gushing, and
it's not a good thing. But yeah, that's the sad news we have, or the only sad news we have so far. We're thankful for that. But yeah, we'll be talking about we'll touch on a little bit on football. I know it's an international break, but the Super Eagles are going to be in action Thursday. So we have to talk about that and which new faces we may see on the team. We're also going to touch a little bit on Napoli. I told you, once they endorse you like this, not that your sack letter, they are printing it. It's about to land. So we'll touch on that a little bit. And then we'll touch on the withdrawals in the international scene is a lot. Everybody is injured now. Every Tom, Dick, and Harry injured. But the good news is it gives other people the opportunity. People that would never have smelt their national teams, all of a sudden they are strolling in onto their national team. So we'll talk about that. But before we do that, let's read the headlines and we'll get into the stories.
On the bill this morning, we expect to read together storyteller hoping to make dream debut against Lesotho as Sina urges Djokovic to close in on ATP Finals last four. Perhaps maybe this was why greatness seemed to be far from Djokovic, but hey, Tega knows better. Leaf critic McIlroy quits PGA Tour board role as you would find Mazzari makes shock Napoli return after Garcia's shown the door. And then there will be Chelsea bound to take charge of USA women when the Women's Soccer League season ends, as well as Jude Bellingham and Levi Colwill, latest players to withdraw from England squad. Then, Maguire says patience rewarded after reclaiming United place. That's why maybe he needs to have a place somewhere around Surulere. There is virtue in patience. But then, Abusive Giroud banned for 2 games after Lecce's tirade.
Yeah,
These
so
are the size of what's to
those are
come.
the stories. So let's start with what's going to happen in Uyo and Tella.
Nathan Tella is in line to make his debut for Nigeria against Lesotho in their opening 2026 World Cup qualifier at the Godswill Akpabio International Stadium in Uyo on Thursday.
Oh,
Tega,
all
how
right.
important is this for him?
Well, he says it'll be great that his family will be watching and they'll all be excited to see him play. And this is what you want to see. People that are hungry to play for their national teams, people that can't wait to make their debut. Unfortunately for him, Nigerian's talent is a dime a dozen. If you sneeze, talent has come outside. So it's just a lot. But like I said pre-show, the amount of injuries coming in. Victor Osimhen is not there. Chukwueze is not there. So now
It's
maybe
a lot.
maybe I can get a run. Maybe I can get 15 minutes towards the end of the game, and it's against Lesotho. So an opportunity to show up and play. But yeah, it's going to be a tough one for him to make the team. He's talented, he's good. And some people will say, why don't you give everybody an opportunity and then you select from there? But you have to understand that coaches also have their preferences when it comes to the style of play, and so that may be tough. But this is opportunity to make a case for himself, because you still remember we have Boniface, who is not a regular feature yet on the Super Eagles, but he's such a fantastic footballer. So, like the presidential campaign, is it Emiloko or is it not Emiloko? You have to wait your turn.
Yes. Yeah.
At this point in time, that's ultimately what may come down to. But I think he'll get an opportunity against Lesotho. Meanwhile, something funny happened. My friend flying to you, one of my colleagues flying to you, and she was on the plane with some Lesotho players, and then the pilot acknowledge that the players are coming to chop beating. I was like, why do you Nigerians do that? It was funny, but it was just mean. But yeah, they are, Lesotho know they're in Nigeria. Even if they are not in Lagos and they can't feel as much heat, they are feeling the heat even from the pilot.
So was this why Asatino Okoye seemed to be missing and another person also got a call up too?
See, I don't want to mock any situation, because over the past 2 years, footballers have been through a lot, literally, in social media terms. And so they've played a lot, and the competitions keep increasing, not just in numbers, but also in intensity. So yeah, somebody is tired. In fact, I need to tap out and let somebody. It's international break.
Tega, you want to go into that? Come on, Tega.
Let them substitute somebody.
Drifting on now to other issues here now. Let's get into Sinner edging out. Yannick Sinner edged towards becoming the first ever Italian to reach the last four of the ATP Finals on Tuesday after a thrilling 7-5, 6-7, 7-6 win over Novak Djokovic.
All right. So again, it was always going to be a tough one. Remember, Novak's first match against Holger Rune went into 3 sets too, and then he got that break in the third set and was able to hold on from there. Against Yannick Sinner, it was really tight and it was really close. And the fact that Yannick Sinner, the tournament is holding in Turin, which is Yannick Sinner's home country. So you can imagine that the Italians were just cheering him on and giving him the feel he needed. So the first set went on, it was tight, it was hard for each of them to break each other. They were cancelling each other out, and then Yannick Sinner eventually got the break. And won the first set. You knew that Novak Djokovic was going to come back in the second set, but Novak Djokovic is such. I've heard, like I said, I've heard the literal meaning of the word Agbaya, so I shouldn't use it.
Okay. But anyway, in passing, it has just come to pass, but you didn't use it.
He does certain things that are unsportsmanlike, and I don't know why people just keep glossing over it and saying it's part of the game. Because when he finds a match tough, he'll start to stretch. Then he'll call for trainer, and he did it yesterday. And it was the timing. There was one time that Yannick Sinner was about to serve.
Yes.
He needed trainer. He just does all these distracting things. And you say as a player, you people should know that he's going to do it. So people shouldn't get distracted. It's impossible because sometimes you're saying, I'm not going to be distracted. That's already distracting. I know he's pretending. I know he's going to be hard to beat, but that's still distracting. It's taken away from the situation. And it was hard. The second set was again hard for each other to break each other's serves. And Yannick Sinner looked like he got a mini break twice. So in the tie break, unfortunately, Novak Djokovic came back. Then the third set, Yannick Sinner just kept level focus. It was like, today, if you like die, I will bury you. Like, it was, even when the crowd was cheering, he could hear them, but he wasn't carried away by, the crowd cheering. He used it as fuel when he needed it, but he wasn't carried away. It was that focus that kept him there. If not, Novak Djokovic would have dramatized and acted his way into another win, and then the commentators are the ones that are most upsetting to me. Will come out and say, "Oh my God, he came back from the brink of death." No, this is not WWE. He's pretending. Nothing is wrong with him. But yeah, so Yannick Sinner has now won 2 matches in his set, but he cannot yet be confirmed as qualified for the next round because Novak Djokovic has won 1, but Novak Djokovic is going to play one more match, and he's playing that against Hubie Hurkacz, who is replacing Tsitsipas. Remember, I told you Tsitsipas looked like he was struggling with injury in his first match that he lost. Yes. He retired in his second match after just 3 games yesterday with that back injury. So Hubie Hurkacz is the alternate replacing him, and should Novak Djokovic defeat him by a particular number of games? Yeah, so it comes down to calculation still. And then should Yannick Sinner lose to Holger Rune, who also won his match by virtue of Tsitsipas walking or retiring from the game, it may be a tough one. So there can't be a winner declared yet. So he's won 2 matches, but he still needs to play that 3rd match. And the outcome of that final day determines whether he makes it through.
That in itself it looks like Djokovic, the cat with 9 life. You just can't say never. You're over him yet. Let's see. We can get messages reacting to any of the sports stories as WhatsApp message coming to 0809 444 0981 will be.
Let's just read this message from the YouTube channel, because somebody has sent in a message, and it's Hamid Ali, and he says, "Anti-Djokovic analysts, you are so blinded by biased scripted over 23 Grand Slams." I didn't say it was scripted. I will never say it was scripted. He just has this silly gamesmanship, and I will say it every day of the week at twice on Sunday. If I saw him, I was telling him to his face, you need to stop that nonsense. And it started since 2011, so it's not today. So Hamid Ali, yes, I stand by it. It is silly gamesmanship that he does. I'm not saying it's scripted. He's talented. He is one of the best athletes on the planet. And athleticism comes in from how you keep your physical
you can't give
body.
Him the flowers yet for
I can never ever give him the flowers for gamesmanship. Never ever. It's like flopping or diving. If you dive or if you flop, you can never get flowers. Leave it. If you like win all the World Cups in the world, if you're a diver, you can never get flowers. It's the reason why I never ranked Rivaldo high as a footballer over anybody. So, all right, let's take a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue on this. Never. If you like, Hamid, nothing. Cannot be doing gamesmanship and I'll be applauding you. That's just silly.
Djokovic, no.
He said that he not called trainer. My back.
But on this day, the trick didn't work.
But you know how bad it is. And he will do it, and in those times when he's doing those things, you will not win a point of him. As he's stretching like this, people never watch it. And the commentators, I think, they are content creators. They have to create the content. But it's absolute balderdash. It only happens when he's struggling to win a match. And if you like say anti-Djokovic, nonsense, no greatest of all time. He's a silly man.
And they can't talk to him and tell him.
No, you can. That's part of his tactics. You know how some people
business concierge at Prophetess Bank.
How Nadal will come and do that is
Nadal doesn't even stretch.
go and get his bottles of water and
No,
be doing those,
how Nadal arranges. See,
and do all those things.
Nadal doesn't take time. He arranges his. You know how he is. He arranges his bottles on the right. That's his process. Novak Djokovic uses his process, but it's very unsportsmanlike.
Okay.
It's like diving in basketball.
You are killing the other person's spirit for the
You're
game.
even killing the game itself. Why are you doing that?
That gives you 5 gigabytes.
Play your match and go. Everybody is struggling with a niggle during a tennis tournament. We know that. But your own always.
But why is it when you're coming from behind? Yay, trainer.
I'm the
Yay.
Djokovic analyst. Go and check it and go and watch it yourself and see. Silly games. It's so annoying. Abaya things.
Yeah.
Does it a lot? You know, and I love athletes to just be like, you know, everybody's struggling with. I like the way Taylor Phrase puts it. Everybody's struggling with some sort of injury, but some people exaggerate more. As he put it there, he hung it there. You decide who exaggerates or who does not.
Where is LK, our man today?
Okay, it's not coming. There's no Chelsea.
Okay.
Rafa doesn't used to do those things. So Rafa never used to do.
Who's coming for you? This guy today. Your ears will be filled today.
What does future forward banking mean to you?
Who's that here?
This is Hamid coming to.
Big Mayor sent in something. Says can never be mentioned in the same breath as Nadal and Federer in their drama. This drama is just too much. What's happening?
He does that nonsense. You know, like when Nadal wants to serve, you know, when Djokovic wants to serve, his first serve, Djokovic will bounce the ball either 11 or 13 times. People have their process. He bounces 11 or 13 times. When he wants to do his first serve. After that, he will do 7 or 8. I watch all these people. Nadal will arrange everything. This how no, he'll first start. He'll do 1, 2, then he'll pull his shot out of his bubble. Then he'll do this hair. Then he'll do this side of his hair. Then he'll bounce another 2 times before he serves. That's his process.
Play tennis where we come out here, Johnny.
Johnny now will bounce it in between his legs twice before he bounces normal, and then different people have their different style. Brother Federer will just he must lift his back leg, drop it 1, 2, and then he serves. People have their style, but in game, you will never see Nadal doing all those. If Nadal can be struggling with injury, and he will play through that injury. Djokovic,
everybody will know.
Once he starts losing, that's when the injury is more. He'll come and be defending, and we should come to his face. I will tell him, and I will put my right finger in his right hand.
That's personal now, Tega.
It's not personal, it's warning. Don't spoil my tennis for me.
We're smooth 98.1 FM. It's still the locker room, and Tega Onojiafe is still here. We get some messages to pick up.
Yeah, so people are really angry. This Ahmed is really angry with me. Ahmed, I will tell you every day of the week and twice on Sunday. It's silly gamesmanship. But Mayowa comes with this one. He says, but Rafa was Rafa not also guilty of the same thing? No, he never used to do in-game gamesmanship. No, he can be what's the thing they call when people are particular about something. There's a word that they call it, and he could be obsessive about where he placed his bottles, and before he served,
you know, OCD.
He has OCD, you know, and then before he serves, he had his style, you know, bounce the ball twice, pull his shots out of his bum, arrange his hair twice, then he plays. But everybody has different things they do before they serve. But in between games, you will never see Nadal, you know, stretching, feigning fatigue. Even when he had real injuries that you could see and you knew after, he would play through that. You know, he never had that.
No, just hold on. Just see. You see, it tells you that people listening, just when you need the word, see, Kunle drops it there.
Kunle said OCD. Kunle, thank you. Yeah, he had that OCD, but he didn't used to do gamesmanship. Djokovic is a different level. And Big Mayor now comes in. This is different from Mayowa, obviously. He says Djokovic can never be mentioned in the same breath as Nadal and Federer. His drama is too much. Waiting happen. And then Hamid Ali comes up and says, all in your dreams, to his face indeed. Be there and be making mouth. I know, Hamid, I know. This thing is paining you. I've touched on your goat this morning. Cruz says, this is on WhatsApp, Cruz says, Tega, we there for you.
Taya comes up.
And then Tayo comes up and asks, can Pesero
Nadozie.
invite Nadozie to play for the team? No, it's not legal for Nadozie to play for the Super Eagles. You find your goalkeeper. We have
Yeah.
found our goalkeeper.
Okay. So it looks like a fine place to go over now to the leaf critic McElroy has resigned from the PGA Tour board after admitting he had grown disenchanted with the role during the tour's acrimonious battle with Saudi-funded Leaf Golf.
All right, so it's crazy, and I expected that this withdrawal also come because remember when he woke up one morning in June and found out that the PGA Tour that he's been supporting, to keep the integrity of the game in quote, had gone behind himself and Tiger Woods to go and do like a backyard handshake with the same Saudi-backed LIV Golf. And I think that's what disenfranchised most of them. So remember the president, the chairman resigned and said, oh, he needs to take time away from the game after all the drama. And now McElroy has just said, he's not happy with the way things are going and the way the deals are going on. And at this point in time, it seems inevitable, that Saudi is going to come into golf regardless with all their money. So he just needs to step back. Now, the PGA Tour came out to give another excuse on their website. They're like, he wants to focus on his golf and his family. He always had his golf and his family before. It is you people that are doing backyard deals that's making him to leave. But bottom line, McElroy has left the board. I think I'm just upset because he was offered some very good money by the Saudi.
The money.
And he left it because he wanted to protect the integrity of the game. Only for him, the people that he was protecting. Hi, Brutus Etu. The people he was protecting now went to do deal behind his back. Can you imagine? Hi, Judas Iscariot, all of you. How many pieces of silver did you get? Anyway, but bottom line, yes. That's what's happening in golf. There's a lot of drama there.
Let's leave golf now to live for a bit as we go to this next story. Walter Mazzari made a shock return as Napoli manager on Tuesday after Rudy Garcia fell victim to a dismal start to the Italian champion Serie A title defense.
I like
the letter was being typed.
I like the way they said fell victim because remember during the last international break the director came out and said, "Oh my goodness, we are backing him. He's our coach." Once they start saying like that, let me explain this thing to you in lay terms. Once the club comes out to say he's our coach, that is tantamount to your friends calling your girlfriend the Yahoo. That means you are not our wife. You are not the wife. Our wife is a scam. They've scammed Rudy Garcia and they called him our wife. You are the one. You cook for us.
Yes.
Yeah, you allow us to come and watch
football.
football.
It's always very nice.
Only for him to wake up and he was fired after the loss between the Napoli lost to Empoli over the weekend by 1-0. He was fired after that loss. And now he's been replaced very swiftly by Mazzari. So let's see how this pans out for Napoli. But yes, for defending champions, it's been such a horrible start. You can understand not getting results against some tough sides, but to lose to teams like Empoli, not being able to score.
Who gave you the script, the title in
he's not the one that gave them the title.
So you wouldn't even.
No. He's not the one that gave them the title.
Yeah.
Oh, no, sorry. The guy that won them the title resigned immediately after winning the title.
So I was going to say, you leave when the occasion is loudest.
Yeah, he said he wanted to go on sabbatical, only for Italy and Mancini to leave. And Italy now called him, so he's serving his nation basically. Okay. So Rudy is not the one that won them the title. Yeah. Rudy is the replacement that came in after, and they sacked him only after.
It's always hard to step in those kind of shoes. That's the truth of the matter. But then let's go on to see Chelsea boss Emma Hayes has been named the new manager of the United States women's national team and will take charge of the women's Super League season when the season ends.
Yes,
in
the
May.
worst kept secret in football. We'd heard that Emma Hayes was leaving and she was going to coach the national team, and she's achieved a lot with Chelsea, and she was saying that she was hoping to win Champions League with Chelsea, and if she can do that, then it'll be like her dream, best dream ever. But she's leaving at the end of the season to go to the US women's national football team. Remember, they had their own crisis. Their meltdown was global. I
still
remember,
remember the World Cup.
yeah, from the before, even before the World Cup, I was saying these people cannot do well with this coach. And at the World Cup, it was evident that there was trouble. But she's worked in America before, so she knows how, she understands the system, she understands US Soccer Federation, so she can work with them. But let's see how she can rebuild that team. There are lots of US players, well, staunch names in the US team already retiring. Rapinoe retired, Kruger retired, so they're names that are leaving. And so she's going to come in and not just take the team back to its glory level, but she's rebuilding. So that's a real tough task for anybody. So let's see how she takes on that challenge. But yes, but for all my Chelsea friends that used to brag about their Chelsea women's team, don't. Your talisman is gone. Your Jazz has moved to America.
Okay.
What, your Jazz has jackpot. What can you do now?
Then this brings us now to the next. England is our focus now. Jude Bellingham and Levi Colwill have withdrawn from the England squad for Euro 2024 qualifiers against Malta and North Macedonia.
That
Why?
was always going to happen. The injuries are a lot. Everybody is injured or carrying an injury. Something is wrong. Like I said, the football that those players have played in the last 2-3 years, it's a lot, and there was always going to be wear and tear, so that's what's happening. And I think for some players, they could have managed to feature with the team if it was crucial ties that their country needed to qualify for, because everybody wants to be at the Euros. But when your team has already qualified, why are you killing yourself? So in England, there's Bellingham, there's Colwill. In Brazil, Ederson is out with a foot injury. You saw that coming from over the weekend when the trainers were already on the pitch in that 4-4 draw against Chelsea. So players are withdrawing. For Manchester United, Højlund, Eriksen, they withdrew from their team. So players are just dropping out of the teams. It's a tough one, but let's see how players can recover from all these injuries.
What would we gain if we don't check up on Maguire?
Yes, Maguire says.
Maguire.
Yes, so you have to aspire to Maguire.
Okay.
Maguire said last season Varane was playing, Licha was playing. Oh God, Tega, Licha has a real name. Martinez was playing, and they're playing regularly and they're playing very well. And he had to sit on the bench. He played very few minutes, but patience and hard work. Surulere has kept him here. Surulere has kept him here. So that's the aspire to Maguire today. Be patient and be ready.
Okay.
So that when your time comes, you'll now start playing regularly too. And on that note, let's just wrap up the locker room with all these messages. The first one is from
Jerry from Ikorodu saying, "This is what you get when you disrespect your best player in your team. Garcia disrespected Osimhen. Good for him."
Chimaobi Victor says.
It comes up. Good morning. It says, "Congrats to Barcelona female for the victory against Benfica. I'm very happy for our own Asishat Oshuala for making us proud. While for the Chelsea and Real Madrid game tonight will end in a score draw." And that's Chimaobi.
Okay, and then he talks about England.
We'll surely miss Jude Bellingham, but I know they will still cope without him, as they do well in any qualifying game.
All right.
Let's see Tayo here.
Tayo says, "I thought the performance of King Kara of Napoli would help the team by now. Osimhen, carry your boots and flee from that place. You can come back to Nigeria Professional League. No, go to Saudi and collect Saudi money for us." Now that Hayes is leaving for the US Women's National Team, other rivals can now compete for the WSL title. I agree with you. And then he wraps up with, "Maguire is really a man for all seasons." And Emeka wraps up with, "Maguire has taught me something
valuable. It's if he can make it in football, any other person can make it. Just be patient and pray for your teammates to be injured before any opportunity comes."
Okay, all right. Then Ibuku says, he goes back to the Nadal story on YouTube. He says, "I think Nadal's routine of touching the hair and shirt and shoulders is a way of crossing himself. But if I play Novak Djokovic, I will start to show my own injury. When he's about to start playing, you're very wicked. You're very wicked." And on that note, I want to say thank you for joining us on the locker room.
Yeah.
We're very happy with your banter, and thank you, Hamid. I really like people that
Ali.
I like people that have opposing opinions, because that's what the locker room about is discussion. Yeah, it's not Tega knows it all. All right. So thank you for your messages on YouTube. Thank you for your messages on WhatsApp. And thank you for watching us and listening to us. We hope you can join us again on Friday when we'll be talking about the Super Eagles result.
And we're asking all of them who sent in messages on YouTube to just give us a thumbs up. Just touch the thumbs up signal there
Yep.
on YouTube, and that will be all. Thank you all so much. Thank you, Tega. Have a great day. My name is Omatseye Atsenuwa. Good morning.